Check this out. If you're a traveler who likes history, I've made this for you. This is pretty cool. Here is the site of the battle itself. I am driving around northern Greece, and I am on a quest to see as much history as I can within 3 days. Look, the last thing YouTube needs is another travel vlog, but I want to show you a trip where history is the sole focus. Traveling through ancient Macedonia in the footsteps of Alexander the Great's father, Philip II. Beaches and nightlife are fantastic, of course, but the kind of travel I like to do, especially solo, all right, I'm not going too fast. Ruins and museums, walking around places where the world changed and immersing myself in those stories. And this region is absolutely perfect for that. After landing at Thessaloniki airport at lunchtime and picking up a hire car, I've jumped straight on the road to my first destination. That is the tomb of Philip II, as well as a whole bunch of other Macedonian royalty. Inside, they've got this whole museum set up, but they've kept things as best they can in situ. The reason why this is on a lot of history nerds' bucket list is because of these artifacts. These, it is now believed, belong to Philip II, king of ancient Macedonia and father of Alexander the Great, a hugely important figure in ancient history. You may already know this, but ancient Greece wasn't a single unified country. It was a series of Greek-speaking city-states that was sometimes united when the Persians attacked and mostly at war with each other the rest of the time. Philip II changed that, taking Macedonia from regional backwater to main powerhouse in Greece, and did it not only with military success, but also with political cunning. Philip II's belongings are over 2,400 years old and were discovered remarkably intact in the 1970s. I cannot overstate how rare finds like these are. His sword, his armor, his crown, and inside this gold box are his cremated remains. Yeah, they're still in there. It's amazing. I've just had a look around there and there's so much gold. I cannot believe that this stuff wasn't looted. I'm amazed. This was just an incredible visit. But there's another museum nearby to see as well. This whole area was once the capital of ancient Macedonia, Aigai, and the polycentric museum just up the road preserves the rest of the important remains found in the area. Some incredible craftsmanship from thousands of years ago is here. But what I found really special was this. This is where Alexander the Great was crowned king, or at least a representation of it. This is so cool. Well, it's a bit wet today, but seeing those tombs and seeing the relics, that was amazing for me. Bucket list stuff. So I am in a very, very good mood. I think now it's time to go have a celebratory beer, get out of this rain, and I'm going to go check out some more museums tomorrow. This is awesome. Thessaloniki. Look at those lovely drone shots. This is where I'm staying tonight. It's only an hour's podcast away from Aigai, and it ties in nicely with the Philip II theme, as it was named after his daughter Thessaloniki. Not much has survived its turbulent past though, but you can still find a few Roman, Byzantine and Ottoman sites, including the famous White Tower by the port. So I just soaked up the food, the music, got ready for another big day. Alrighty, it is day 2 and I am driving from Thessaloniki all the way to Philippi. It's a 2 and a bit hour drive. I want to see the ruins. I want to see this amazing UNESCO heritage theatre that's there, and I want to learn the stories of the place as well. But the main story that I'm interested in learning is the Battle of Philippi. I want to somehow get to the locations where the battle happened and tell the story from there. This may end up being actually a separate video. I'm getting quite obsessed with this part of history. Right, my first tip for Google Maps users is to make sure you're going to the archaeological site of Philippi, and not just heading to Philippi like I did, which is a farming town near the site, but not the site. Once you're there though, it's a great couple of hours of exploration and history. And crucially for this film, another tie-in to Philip II, who founded the city after his conquests here, and gave it his name. The theatre is the big draw card, of course, Roman era, like most of the ruins, but built on the site of an earlier Greek construction. UNESCO listed too. Just incredible. I loved the forum too, and how archaeologists have made sense of the rubble for visitors without heading too far down the reconstruction route. Back in the day, this would have been really busy. This is where everyone conducted their business, all the government buildings were here. Not a lot left standing now, but it's pretty remarkable. A lot of it's being preserved for us to enjoy today. One thing I didn't know about Philippi before I arrived, though, was its Christian history. This is an old water cistern, but it is also said to be the prison of St. Paul, where he was kept in the early days of Christianity, and he's said to have done some of his writings here. The museum curator told me that the site attracts a lot of pilgrims year-round, and she also told me this story. One story I heard about that is that it's a Byzantine-era Christian church. Apparently they built a big dome over the top of it. We're about to finish it up, and obviously due to design or something like that, it just immediately sort of caved in, and then all the worshippers were like, oh, it's a bad sign. And so they never used it. It was completely unused. And obviously time, earthquakes, and raids finished the job, and that is all we're left with today. There's an accompanying museum housing some of the discoveries made at the site. It weirdly charges its own entry fee, but whatever. Once I stepped out from there, though, I had a great view over the plains, and this is where the Battle of Philippi occurred. This world-changing battle saw 200,000 Roman soldiers squaring off against each other in the climactic battle of a years-long civil war which marked the end of the Roman Republic and the rise of the Roman Empire. Pretty important, but there is nothing at the site itself to help point an overly keen history nerd like myself to specific points of interest. Why can't there be a plaque? But I hopped in the car, did a ton of research online in the lead up to the visit, and I'm pretty sure I've figured out the right spots. It ended up becoming its own video where I run through the most important events of the battle in the places they happen. I'll put a link in the description below if you'd like to see it. Base of operations for my second night is Kavala, a beautiful coastal town to the south of Philippi. It was Brutus and Cassius's main base as well before their defeat, and the odd fragments of the city from that time are displayed in the Archeological museum in town. The Ottoman-era fortress and aqueduct are lovely to wander around as well. Right, it's my last day, and with an evening flight home to catch from Thessaloniki, I thought I'd squeeze in something a little different on the drive back. A couple of things I didn't realise about Alistrati Cave, because I did kind of come across this randomly. It's not only the biggest cave in Greece, and most spectacular, it's also one of the biggest caves in Europe. The formations in there, stalactites, stalagmites, I get them mixed up. It was spectacular. And this cave's only been open the last 25 years. Before that, it had been discovered but not developed. They've done such a good job with making sure it's not only safe for tourists, but it's flat the entire way. It's wheelchair accessible. One of the few caves you could say that it's wheelchair accessible. I mean, how cool is that? If you are a history lover and you have a few days up your sleeve and can duck over to northern Greece, I recommend it. Oh, shake, 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 shake. The amount of history you can see in a short space of time is fantastic. They've got a lot of museums, and there's a lot I've missed as well. I'm sure there's a lot of people who are familiar with the region that will watch this video and go, oh, Pete, no, you should have checked out this, you should have checked out that. Let me know. I would love to come back and explore more thoroughly next time.